Okay, so let's go ahead and call a meeting at 11:34. We do a roll call. I'm here, Jana Warner.
Carrie Stuckey.
Right, and Rosemary, we have you online, and Michaela, you're just gonna chat with her.
Yes, correct.
That is everyone. And we needed to vote in a chair and a vice chair. So does anybody have any nominations?
So at the last meeting, we voted Jenna as chair. I think they ended up doing that.
Okay.
So we can do that, and then if you want to keep that,
I'll go ahead and
if
say.
that's okay. So do we want to do the vice chair today or table it? What do you?
Do we want to wait until Ronnie can be there? Unless Carrie, are you interested?
I think why don't we wait until Ronnie is able to.
All right, so we will go ahead and table that for now.
Okay,
come back
and
to
just
vice
to
chair.
read, Rosemary said she did not wish to chair or vice chair as her term is almost over.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome, Brian. Brian Smith has joined us.
Hi.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Okay, so next is approval of the agenda. Does anyone want to motion that or have any items that they needed to be added? Rosemary, do you want a motion to approve the agenda?
You only have 3?
Yeah.
What's quorum?
3, because we have 5.
Okay.
And we have 2 vacancies. The alternate's vacancy and our position 4 is vacant. So, and I guess we should have said Ronnie had emailed us that he could not be at this meeting. So we have Rosemary, who's connected. She doesn't have a microphone, so she's using the chat too.
Or Carrie, would you like to motion?
Sure. I'll move that we approve the agenda.
And Rosemary, do you want a second?
I think you can say.
I can. Second.
Yeah.
Right, I'll second. So all in favor? All right, next is approval of the minutes from last meeting. Any questions or do you have a chance to look at them?
I'll go with them. I don't have any questions.
All right, and I don't see anything from Rosemary, so you want a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second. All in favor? All right, time for public comments. Do we have any members of the public on there today? Doesn't look like it.
Just one person, I guess, is signing it. That might be Mr. Hobby, or it could be Mr. Wiesner. It's Mr. Hobby. Welcome, Hal.
Hi, Hal. We just opened up for public comments.
I like your background.
Hal, can you hear us?
You should make it so it looks like it's actually sitting in the screen. That would be awesome. I don't know if you can hear you.
Hal, can you hear us?
Do you guys hear me? I don't hear anything.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear us?
Hal, can you hear us now? Hal, can you hear us now? I changed the microphone to my Surface. I mean, yes. Well,
Try typing a message. Has to be a setting on his side. If he can hear us, he might need to change his speaker setting. His mic's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he wants to give public comment, we can hear him. We can just go ahead and give his public comment and we can respond through text if we need to.
This makes it really hard. Any chance you can hear us now, Hal? Okay.
Is that a no for public comment then?
Yeah, he said no to public comment.
Okay, then we can move on to reports and discussion items. And our new Parks and Rec director.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of, while Hal's figuring that out, I'll give you a little bit of background on me, and then I could probably just go ahead and do a little updates on some stuff with you, and maybe open up for a little back and forth. This is my first time here with the Parks Board. First, let me reciprocate that with welcome to Parks and Recreation, brand new department in the city, currently made up of some of our existing departments, Marina, Senior Services, and Parks Operations. I've been involved with Parks and Recreation almost 30 years in one form or another. I started out as a day camp counselor to ARC and with ARC of the Tri-Cities, just working with kids with disabilities in one of their day camp programs called Partners for Pals, teaching kids with disabilities how to swim, go on field trips, just doing all kinds of fun stuff, and really built a sense of calling for what we do and quality of life for the residents in Parks and Recreation. So even though I went to school originally, I was doing a degree in business management and getting a computer engineering degree.
Speak up just
Oh,
a
sure.
little.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Rosemary, can she just said it a little louder, please?
Right. Yeah. Can you hear me all right, Rosemary? If I speak up a little bit. Okay, good. So I decided, got bored of math classes, and so went to the other side of the spectrum. Hula hoops and soccer balls were more my thing, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so I got a degree in recreation management and a degree in youth leadership, and then a master's degree in public administration. I worked as a manager for a golf course and event center for a couple of years while me and my wife, we ran a high adventure travel business. And that, we taught us scuba diving certifications, took people ocean kayaking down Mexico, go on ATV excursions, basically just played. We got a ski school partnership with Alta in Utah for a little while, and then started having kids and decided I needed to get a real job. And so I went to work for Provo City and worked for them for about a decade. I ran their senior center and youth center and their community center, special events, facilities, skate park. Then we demolished all those, built a brand new $39 million general obligation bond recreation center. It's 164,000 square feet, beautiful facility in Utah, partnered with VCBO on that design and build. And then I went to work for Pleasant Prairie Village, Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, overseeing the Recplex, which is the largest municipally owned recreation center in the country. It's 375,000 square feet, 2 full-size NHL hockey rinks, and a big Olympic pool, competition pool, and we had preschool programming, and we had therapeutic recreation, and just did it all. And then helped kind of rebuild that department. They had been without a director for 9 years, and ever since the recession. And so the city administrator was retiring, and they wanted to kind of get it back up to where it needed to be for the new administrator. So that was almost like a project job. Kind of went in, put together a new Parks and Rec board, did some planning with the facility, did an $11 million add-on with the facility, restructured the department, restructured the budget, and left them in good hands. And then came back to the Mountain West and went to work for Glowing Springs in Colorado. Very similar to here when I first went there. They had a parks and cemeteries department, fairly flat organization. So they had a superintendent and a crew lead, and then just a bunch of maintenance workers. And then we had a community center, and that had an ice rink and aquatic center, and that was kind of the department. So over the last 6 years with them, I started a recreation department, started an arts department. We revamped an old hydroelectric plant into an arts center, and started a special events department, a marketing department. Took on the municipal airport and did a new land use plan with them and a bunch of renovations out there, a new business plan. I started up a facilities department for the city, and let's see, what else have I done? Yeah, we started up a new economic development department. So that was kind of co-run between me and the assistant city manager, who kind of also oversaw community development. And so that was good timing with that. We did a lot partnership with the chamber just to help the community get through the pandemic and the shutdowns. And then right before I left, we just started this last year getting into inclusive and special recreation programming. So working with all kinds of different marginalized and underserved populations and communities. We're building a new universal design playground for kids with disabilities, and so really excited. Coming in here, I think being a director for a new creative department is exciting enough, but as I've gone through on one weekend and have already met with, at least a dozen people from around the community, gotten their thoughts on what is here and what they'd like to see happen, and have a good idea of the makeup of the department, and already kind of a vision in place on how we would like to grow it. So as I said, we have Marina, Senior Services, and Parks under us. We'll probably pull in a few other services that the city has. We'll look at revamping and revitalizing all of our parks, redoing all the playgrounds, getting rid of the pea gravel and the 70s playground equipment. And we'll put in new trails. We'll make a few regional size park playgrounds, and we'll look at some new facilities, maybe a recreation center. You're already aware a little bit of the harbor and the dredging and redoing of the marina out there. So I'm going to shift gears on you guys a little bit, right? You're going to get pretty heavily involved with a lot of planning efforts. We're going to be creating a lot of new programs. I'm going to be going in and doing all kinds of ordinances to make some revisions to the city code, and we'll have you guys go through that and help me out with those. And then we'll just I'm going to drag you along for the ride, and it will be a ride. So what you can expect, and I think what the community can expect, is you'll probably see some small changes here and there to start out with, and those will just kind of exponentially grow as we gain momentum and go along, and the department gets a little bigger, and we get the staff to support the changes, and you have the infrastructure for the maintenance of all of these things that we want to do, and we start getting our budget and revenue streams in place. We'll probably work on a cost recovery model together. And you don't need to be an expert at any of these things. Like I love people that are on parks boards, right? Because you care about the community, you care about quality of life. You want a good place where you can take the family or some fun stuff to do on date night. These are the cool and fun things in government, right? I mean, paving streets is great, and utilities and public safety, all good, necessary things. But what we do here in this room is why people want to live here, right? Absolutely vital. So you're going to be a part of really helping me lift the community's vision of what's possible, and and hopefully you're comfortable with kind of talking to your friends and neighbors and really getting their input on the direction we're going. And I will have you guys at council meetings. Getting up there, and I don't think there'll be too much podium pounding, but definitely in there as a voice of support of, hey, we have fielded this with the public. We've invited the public out as we've gone over these plans, or this resolution of support for this grant, for this new program, or whatever it might be, and give you some face time with council and just let your voice be heard and help you to support us. I'm here as a resource for you guys. I'm a city liaison. You are a branch of council, so I don't manage you. You don't manage me. You're an advisory council to advisory board to the council. So we will work hand in hand, and I will be as much a resource to you as possible. So you don't feel like you need to have expertise in all this stuff as we go forward. I will do some training with you guys and actually bring people in to give you training on all kinds of different subjects that we're going to be looking at and talking about. So your board meetings are probably going to change a little bit. Like I said, we'll probably have little guest speakers quite often, and we'll probably have public comment sessions quite often, and I might mess around with your agenda a little bit. So I see you have some vacancies. That's great. We'll get some new blood in here. Do you have a youth rep?
We tabled that for right now. We want to get the bylaws finished first.
Yeah, so this is Mikhail, just for those online who can't see me, Mikhail Finkel. The prior parks manager had sent a proposal for the youth member, basically replacing the alternate position, or making the youth member the alternate member. When it got up to administration, we had a recommendation to actually, instead of making it the alternate, actually adding a youth member with some in the code where it's termed around, having a youth member on the board. So now that Brian is here, we can get his input, and then that's going to be one of our bylaw. A couple months ago, we looked at the bylaws, and I believe it was, this board hasn't been updated since like 2006 or something, really old. So we had taken some time to look at those, and I have recommendations to change them, and then that's where we make the change to add the student member. But that's on the city side. We still need, Brian, probably you to make that connection with the school. I mean, I'm not sure who the prior manager was working with at the school to, where that student is coming from. If they're part of a civic program already at the school, I think it was the high school, right? And it was a certain grade, if I remember. I don't know if it was
Like it was appointed, or they just advertise it through this.
Yeah, I don't know if they were gonna have it like it. I mean, they had it set up like they had to apply their sophomore year and then get approved by their guidance counselor, and then they'd start actually their junior year. I'm not sure if those are the actual grades, but it was something like that. Like they applied when they were in a certain grade, and it was for their following school year, because they only, obviously the school year is not year round. So that's what we need to work out, those logistics. And I'm not sure if anyone in the parks operations remembers at that time who they might have been talking to at the school board. So that'll be on us staff to figure out how to make that process work.
Okay.
And then, yes, I think also too, we can look at the Arts Commission, either I think at one time did have a student member, so
They do.
yeah, we'll make those,
Yeah, I went to
the
their
programs
meeting
kind of
last week.
parallel.
Yeah, they were talking in, about the angel statue. I think they had a question on whether they needed the Parks Board and Council's kind of stamp of approval on that. How was that meeting? And I see your comment, Hal. Appreciate you being willing to podium pound for us. That's great. Can you hear us all right, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So to that student thing, I just put a comment up about the Youth Commission. My son was the student rep for the Youth Commission back a decade ago or so. And they have a process already in place at the high school. So you can ask Tara, because Tara was on the Youth Commission at the same time. She may still be on for all I know.
Youth Commission. So the city has a youth commission? Or
The city
Yeah.
doesn't, must be at the school level.
Okay.
That's at the youth commission, is at the school house?
I don't know who runs it. It used to be one of the city commissions. It was citizen, city council person, which was Tara. The sheriff was on it. There was a youth member. There were a couple other people. But I know that my son came to city council to get appointed by the mayor, so I know it went through the city at that time.
Okay, interesting. I would do more research on that.
Okay. Let's see here. A couple updates just for you guys to be aware of. So they're looking at Flintstone Park for the location for the angel statue. And I don't know, I'm curious to hear because I'm still learning like what everything is and what people think about everything. So what do you know about this angel statue? What are your thoughts on it?
It's a big discussion topic in the community. I think it's been talked about a lot more. I feel like there's been so much time spent on it that I personally would just like to see it get put up. So
I agree. I think that it's kind of taken over public discussion, every meeting, everywhere. I would like to see it get put up somewhere. I had personally reached out to the Arts Commission with some ideas a while ago, several months ago. I had suggested somewhere at the marina. It sounds like they're not really interested in that, but Flintstone Park is definitely an option. I think that is, I agree with you. I would like to see it up and done and complete and behind us. So yeah, I support the statue coming. I just don't know the right location.
How do you feel about Flintstone Park area?
It wouldn't have been my first choice, but I think that having seen and heard what I've seen from the Arts Commission and the City Council and everything, I think it is a reasonable compromise based on what everyone has been discussing on each side of the issue. So I would be okay with it personally. And I think a lot of members of the community would be okay with it too. The big issue was there was a lot of community opposition to it just being in Windjammer Park at all. And I know that's where the Arts Commission has really invested their time and money into trying to get it into Windjammer Park. So Flintstone Park seems to be a reasonable compromise, in my opinion.
yeah, I think I think that's gonna look really nice, being able to come into the harbor when you're out on the water and seeing it right there. And yeah, I just, with Windjammer, I think also there were issues and comments coming up because people were thinking that it would take the place of the windmill, which it isn't.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of some miscommunication that was out there.
Rosemary, you have any thoughts on the angel statue at Flintstone? I don't know if she can hear us or she's muted.
She doesn't have a microphone,
Oh.
so she is messaging us, and she said no.
Okay. Let's see here. One of our parks crew, I can't think of Ken's last name. What's Ken's last name? You know?
I don't want to pronounce Sedell, Seldl, Sedell.
Will be retiring end of the year. So we're going to be hiring for that position. So, and we probably will be looking at some sort of additional position beyond that. Right now, besides some labor crew, we also really could use some admin help. I don't have an admin assistant yet, but we need someone that can, maybe like an office coordinator that can help with field rentals, work with some of the leagues, stuff like that, until we kind of get more recreational pieces in place. So like I said, it's going to be a little awkward as we get off the ground trying to find people to do the different tasks that need to be done. So help us get the word out. If you know anyone that's looking for full-time positions, either in parks, which is super desirable position. I think we'll have a lot of internals, but I mean, you get to play in the parks all night. I mean, it's great. Or helping us with kind of admin side of stuff, especially working around with the leagues and sports fields and things like that. Let people know that we'll be looking. You can expect to see those posted here, hopefully either at the end of the week. We might do one by the end of the week and maybe one by the end of the year, but in the next few weeks. And then we'll try and get those hired on after the new year. We do have a new arborist. One of our parks crew has gotten that certification, so they'll be helping us out, and we'll be doing a lot more work in the streets and the Main Street group. I don't know if you've ever had a joint meeting with those. We're probably going to do a lot of joint meetings too. We'll probably do some joint meetings with the Arts Commission, as well as the Marina Board, and then probably be good to maybe have a joint meeting with the Chamber at some point, especially as we talk about special events, and the Main Street group. I don't know what their name is. They have
The Main Street Association.
Main Street Association.
Yeah,
Okay.
Concord Main Street Association.
Yeah, and just talk a little bit more about beautification of downtown and events that we do down there and stuff. But, yeah, we're going to make you guys very popular. So hopefully you're okay with that. But I promise not to take too much of your time. I know this is a volunteer, volunteer job. I appreciate you guys taking time. I wanted to ask you, how do you like this time slot and day and everything? I've never seen a commission that meets during the lunchtime. That's kind of interesting. Do I need to feed you guys?
Well, if you want to.
Well, if we're
Yes,
asking you to
but,
meet at lunch, we should be.
I personally like this time slot better. I know we have been doing 3 to 4, which is the pickup time at elementary and intermediate schools, which can be difficult for some of us to kind of figure out what to do with the kiddo. So this would be my preference.
I agree with that. I have a 7-year-old, so that 3 to 4 time slot is kind of tricky to get logistically coordinated for. So I'm happy with this time slot.
You like it better than an evening time, or?
It would. I mean, I'm open to an evening time slot too, but
Yeah, I would definitely be open to it, but preferred would
Preference.
be,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we just want to look at it as we put out and try and market for filling the vacancies. Want to make sure that's going to work for people. Most people have a lunch break though, but like I said, if we're pulling you guys on lunch breaks, and and if you have a job where you can't go get lunch afterwards, I should definitely feed you guys. So I want to get a feel on that.
Yeah, and we could even, I know we did 11:30 and we went back to that because the prior board a while ago, they used to meet at 11:30. Their meetings were usually pretty short, like a half hour. And then because of the student thing, they decided to do it at 3, but again, that never prospered. So the last meeting, we decided to change it back. So if 11's a little easier for people's lunch hours too, I don't know, but No, we just went back to the 11:30 because that's what they used to meet before. So
And you guys are good like for an hour meeting?
Yep.
All right. If it starts going towards an hour and a half, are you still good?
Yeah.
All right. It won't right away, but eventually these meetings are going to start getting longer.
well, other things maybe, Brian, we could do too is if we are meeting with Main Street or the Chamber and we know we're going to have like a discussion, then we can always, as long as we notice it ahead of time, we can change the place, the location, the time, the day, to meet whatever our needs are going to be for that. And
On that note, like for breakout committees, because I like to pull board members, just to meet with staff offline, just to kind of vet issues before we bring it back to the whole board. What is the notice requirements for a member? Is it anything over 2?
quorum would be,
members, or-
quorum would be 3. So we'd have to keep it at 2.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's 5.
Let's see. We are putting in some new playground equipment. Right now, we're going to keep probably the engineered wood fiber. I hate the pea gravel. It is legal, but it's not accessible, and as my 8-year-old would say, it sucks when you come flying off the slide and land on your bum on pea gravel. She's gotten cut up on it before. So we will probably move to engineered wood fiber for all the playgrounds that have pea gravel, and ideally we'll just go to pour in place for everything, just because it's softer, it's easier on the knees, it's accessible, and just kind of more industry standard right now. You don't have to worry about parasites and everything else that come with the wood fiber either. See, we are starting to work with our grower, Van Wingerden Gardens, on the baskets that we'll be putting downtown and around the city for the springtime. I think we're going to either go out to bid or just put it out there for a new selection. We might work with them again, but we want to make sure that we meet the weight requirements for the poles, which is about 50 pounds. And would love to get your guys' thoughts on a look. Normally I like to see something that kind of waterfalls over the baskets. It just looks nice. But we'll probably get a couple mock-ups, designs for you guys, and vet those for you and see what you like as far as maybe a color palette or whatever.
That would be great.
So,
Yeah.
let's see. We have, I've seen down at Floodstone, we have a new Portland Loo that's going in there. What do you guys think of the Portland Loos? So Glenwood Springs, we had looked at putting one in for our downtown, and we went away from it. We just did a prefab building. It cost us like $250,000 for it, and then I did one based off of that for another park. It was a little more expensive. There are several different reasons why we didn't go with Portland Loo. You guys have committed to it here. What are your thoughts?
I like them better than the regular bathrooms. But it would be nice to, I don't know, get some hand sanitizer or something in them other than just the cold water outside. I think they've been pretty convenient, especially when I've had to take 2 of my kids in with me. There's no like trying to crawl underneath the stalls or anything. So, and while it might not seem like it's very private inside, it is. There's not everybody's hearing everything that's going on outside. So I like them.
Yeah, I would say very similar sentiments. I've been happy with them. I'm not the expert on what all the options are for those types of facilities, so I've been happy with what we have though so far.
Okay. All right, good. I'll probably meet with the police chief at some point, just to kind of orient on what they're doing and how we can help them out. I'm sure we'll have a discussion at some point with us and then fire about transients in the community and any safety issues around that and what we can do to help out with that. I'm not sure if there's a mental health service provider that the city's working with or who's heading that up, but it is an issue that every single community deals with, right? And I don't know how much you guys have had to talk about that or vet it out. From what I've seen, there's not that much of an issue in our parks, but the presence is there. You definitely see it. Not as bad as a lot of communities, but enough that, it's something that we need to address.
Fort Nugent definitely is an issue.
Oh, really?
Back in the trails back there,
I expected Windjammer and everything down here by the bus stop. Fort Nugent is actually kind of surprising that is. Okay.
Yeah. Especially with the property that's just behind it with all of the woods, there's quite a few spots out there.
Okay. We just did when I was going around touring, we saw an encampment up by the Oak Grove. You know where that
At
is?
the north end of
Yeah.
town. Yeah, right as you're coming in.
Yeah, we got that cleaned up. Have you ever seen an encampment, especially one in or adjacent to a park? Let me know. And we'll address it quickly. Okay. I think that's kind of all I have. Mostly I just wanted to meet you guys, let you know a little bit about who I am. So I'm doing an interview with the paper this afternoon. Is there anything that you would like me to pass on to them from the Parks Board? You want to throw in a quote or whatever?
Do you have anything?
I don't have anything off the top of my head, no.
I guess just we're here to listen to what the public has to say. So bring your comments and reach out to us. So, because we can talk to as many people as we know and all of our friends, but we might be missing some concerns that are out there.
All right. Oh, that's great. I'll include that in a little plug for community come and voice their concerns or recommendations and give you guys some feedback. That's it for me.
Okay. Did we have any comments from Park Board members? Rosemary, do you have anything you want to send us via the chat, or Carrie?
Well, this is my first official meeting as a board member, so I just wanted to say hi, everyone, and I'm glad to be here. I'm really excited that there's an actual Parks and Recreation department being formed, and I'm really excited to see it grow, and I'm happy to be a part of the Parks Board, so.
Great. I guess if we don't have anything else, then the meeting is adjourned at 12:13.
Thank you. Good to see you, Hal.